Ho, ho, ho. Yes, it is our ninth chimney stop of Santa Herb's sleigh ride to the 12 days of Christmas. And as I said, we're at our ninth chimney. That means we've got this one and then 10, 11, 12. We're almost at the finale, at the last depot on this sleigh ride. And I know all the Reindeer Girls, and I know all you are looking forward to that. Today we're going to look at a letter. You probably know where I'm going with this. At a letter, because letters are very important, and actually the Postal Service is very important throughout time. I used to give a several-day teaching lessons about this, and I'm not back in high school, sorry. Did you ever write a letter to Santa Claus? I bet most of us did as a kid. I remember writing one on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day and thinking, gosh, I forgot about this, and I wanted a Johnny 7, a multi-purpose rifle. It had like a grenade launcher. It had a stock that would come out into a handgun. It had a rapid fire. It had a smoke thing. I think it had a smoke thing. I'm not sure, but it had 7 weapons in the one unit. And wake up the next morning, come down the stairs, and golly molly, there is. Unwrap that package, and there's my Johnny 7. I don't think I ever told my parents I wanted one, so I think Santa's got a little bit of a connection. I think. Anyway, the first reference we have to children writing letters to Santa Claus was from a little girl in the 1200s, and she wrote one to the real Saint Nicholas, as opposed to the real Santa Claus. And it said, and pay attention to the grammar and the sentence structure here from a little girl. Wow. Saint Nicholas, patron of good children, I kneel for you to intercede. Hear my voice through the clouds, and this night give me some toys. I want most of all a playhouse with some flowers and little birds. How sweet is that? Alexa, continue. Sorry, I forgot to cue the orchestra. That is just lovely. Well, the most famous semi-modern day letter to Santa was from a little 8-year-old girl, Virginia O'Hanlon, who had asked her dad a question about Santa Claus, and he really couldn't answer it, but he said, I tell you what, hon, I'm paraphrasing, I tell you what, for the definitive answer, why don't you write a letter to the New York Sun? Because whatever the Sun says, you can believe. Exact quote, I think, was like, if you see it in the sun, it is so. So she did. And she wrote this letter, Virginia did, as an 8-year-old, asking about Santa Claus. She wrote it on September 21st, 1897. That letter is still in possession of the family. And the newspaper published it anonymously in the editorial page. Later on, we learned the author, actually, of the editorial, of the response. We'll talk about that later. But the editorial was titled, "Is There a Santa Claus?" Thank you. The girls are here, of course, and they are dressed as Iggy Azalea and Katy Perry, and Angelica Houston's here also. She heard we're having popcorn later on, and they're dressed as post women. And yes, Katie, I see all the stamps across your head. It's very delightful. So here's this short letter from Virginia O'Hanlon to the Sun. She said, "Dear editor, I am 8 years old. Some of my little friends say there is no Santa Claus. Papa says, if you see it in the sun, it's so. Please tell me the truth. Is there a Santa Claus?" Virginia O'Hanlon. (1897). The response was this, the editorial. "Virginia, your little friends are wrong. They have been affected by the skepticism of a skeptical age. They do not believe except they see. They think that nothing can be which is not comprehensible by their little minds. All minds, Virginia, whether they be men's or children's or little. In this great universe of ours, man is a mere insect, an ant in his intellect as compared with the boundless world about him, as measured by the intelligence capable of grasping the whole truth of knowledge. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. He exists as certainly as love and generosity and devotion exist, and you know that they abound and give to your life its highest beauty and joy. Alas, how dreary would be the world if there were no Santa Claus. It would be as dreary as if there were no Virginias. There would be no childlike faith then, no poetry, no romance to make tolerable this existence. We should have no enjoyment except in sense and weight and sight. The eternal light with which childhood fills the world would be extinguished. Not believe in Santa Claus? You might as well not believe in fairies. You might as get your papa to hire men to watch it all the chimneys on Christmas Eve to catch Santa Claus. But even if they did not see Santa Claus coming down, what would that prove? Nobody sees Santa Claus. But that is no sign that there is no Santa Claus. The most real things in the world are those that neither children nor men can see. No Santa Claus? Thank God he lives, and he lives forever. 1,000 years from now, Virginia, nay, 10 times 10,000 years from now, he will continue to make glad the heart of childhood. The New York Sun, September 21st, 1897. It came out later that that was written by who was that written by? Let's see. Francis Church, a editorial writer for the Sun, wrote thousands and thousands of editorials and articles. And I'm sure he had just a wonderful time writing this particular response to this little girl. Virginia herself didn't know this was even published, but a friend of hers called her father and told her it was in there. And she said that was the most wonderful piece of writing I ever saw. And Virginia later told the Sun, to quote, "I think that I have never been so happy in my life as when she read the response to her letter." And that's the way children are on Christmas Day, as they expel that anticipation from the weeks prior and that intolerable 24 hours of Christmas Eve before they see that Santa is real. And for those who have not experienced that, perhaps there is the next Christmas. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. Noel, 11:56. Gosh, I just keep longer and longer.